Ekiti State set for governorship election, stakeholders put finishing touches. An 8th ordinary session of Council of Ministers of Pan-African Agency of the Great Green Wall focuses on measures to combat change and desertification. A very lovely afternoon to you. Welcome to Panorama. We are reaching you from Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. My name is Ogochkuka Ona. And we begin this broadcast with a link with Olubukola Aduwo, who is right at Ejigbo area of Ado-Ekiti. Bukola, what's the situation there at this moment?
Thank you, Ogochukuka. I'm right here at Ejigbo. Ejigbo is the heart of Ado-Ekiti, the Ekiti state capital, and it is also considered as the commercial nerve of the city. Commercial activities, here is very low, and this is expected because the people of Ekiti State are preparing for the governorship election, here in Ekiti State come tomorrow, Saturday, June 18. Schools are closed. Both primary schools and secondary schools are closed, not because government declared the day as a public holiday, but because the students and the pupils are on mid-term break. So the atmosphere here is that of peace. Everybody is going about their normal businesses. There is no rancor, there is no tension. Everybody is doing well. And the people of the Ekiti State are willing and they are ready. They are already showing their eagerness and their willingness to go out to the polls tomorrow to elect the man or the woman that will rule them again for the next 4 years, at least for the next 4 years, tomorrow come June 18th. So the atmosphere here is that of peace. And I'm sure that with the arrangement that have been put in place by relevant stakeholders, by INEC and security agencies, I am sure the people are confident to go out tomorrow to vote for the person of their choice. Thank you, Ogochuka. That is the situation here.
Thank you very much, Bukola, for that live update. And now back to the studio. Ekiti State, as we all know, is here again. Ekiti State election is here again, and arrangements have been put in place by relevant stakeholders to ensure a smooth electoral process. How prepared are Ekiti people for the exercise? Olubukola Aduwo again was earlier in town for interviews with the people.
The much-awaited June 18 governorship election in Ekiti State is few hours away, as the electoral umpire INEC is putting finishing touches to ensure a credible and acceptable electoral process. The 16 participating political parties are strategizing and optimistic of victory in the 2,445 polling units in the state. The question now is, how prepared are the eligible voters for this exercise?
Since I got my PVC ready and I'm ready for the June 18 election of Ekiti State to cast the votes to my choice of candidates, and I'm ready to cast the vote for the person that can still be the betterment of Ekiti as a whole, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm not ready to sell my votes.
I'm ready to vote. I have my card. My voter card is with me here, so I'm ready to vote. All my family, all the entire people of the state, we are ready to vote this time.
Election, I'm ready to vote. I'm advising people to come and vote. Vote for your right choice. Not fighting, we're not right fighting. And go there, just vote and go to your house.
I'm ready to vote the candidates of my choice. I've got my voter's card. I'm ready for the election.
I'm ready for the election. Come June 18, I'm prepared. At least I've gotten the necessary document. I think that's the voter's card, and I've confirmed my voting unit, my polling booth. I've gone to confirm it. come on that day, I just go straight to the place, then I cast my vote and go back to my house.
With all the arrangements put in place by relevant stakeholders, the election is expected not just to go smoothly, but credible and acceptable. In Ado-Ekiti, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
And similarly, the political gladiators in the state, numbering 16, who are jostling to occupy the Okeayoba House in Ado-Ekiti, come this Saturday. They are all fine-tuning their activities alongside the Independent National Electoral Commission, whose responsibility preparatory to the election is to ensure that the elections are free and credible as the countdown continues to tick per second. Adobejo Jegba reports.
Preparatory to the elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) kick-started its activities for the governorship election in Ekiti State with voter education through early sensitization of the people of Ekiti State about the upcoming election. They also commenced the process through early collection of permanent voters' card, PVC, together with voter registration in polling units around the state.
Various stakeholders have continued to assure the Commission that everything is set for the conduct of the Ekiti governorship election. As we are aware, we've had meetings with our various heads of department. They have assured us that they are ready. We've had meetings with all the electoral officers in the 16 local governments. They have assured us of their readiness. We have also visited some of the local governments and assessed their level of readiness.
According to the statistics released as at 25th of May 2022, Ekiti State has a total of 988,923 voters who are expected to vote on the 18th of June 2022, while 734,746 persons have collected their permanent voters' card. The data from the voter register indicates that 51% registered voters are women, and young voters between the ages of 18 to 34 constitute 35.56% of the voters in Ekiti State, with women constituting the bulk of voters in the state.
Now, at the collation center, if there's a problem, if there's a challenge relating to the authenticity of the result that has been transmitted manually, then the collation officer will call in the transmitted result that was transmitted electronically, and also the figure from the beavers, and use the tray to make to resolve the challenge or to resolve the issue.
To further underscore the importance it places on the peaceful conduct of the elections, the Interagency Consultative Committee meeting were held with stakeholders and members of the various political parties present. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakub, also visited the state to inspect facilities as well as supervise the training of ad hoc staff recruited to perform the exercise. Media executives were not left out, as the fourth estate of the realm was also carried along and briefed on the new innovation as well as the new Electoral Act 2022 recently signed into law.
Much has been achieved, especially in terms of enlightening members of the fourth estate of the realm.
Its state permits the atmosphere. Eligible voters say they are eagerly awaiting 18th of June 2022 to exercise their franchise. Ekiti State, the land of honor, is set to receive the award, and the Independent National Electoral Commission is dotting the I's and crossing the T's for a hitch-free process. In Ado-Ekiti, Adobeji Ojegba, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigerian Police Force has deployed over 19,000 officers and men for the Ekiti State governorship election on Saturday. Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of 2022 Ekiti State governorship election, Johnson Kokumo, disclosed this at a stakeholders meeting in Ado-Ekiti. Kehinde Durodola has details.
The Deputy Inspector General of Police said the Commission and other security agencies will not favor any political party or candidate during the election, but wants the political gladiators and their supporters to play the game according to the rules. The police boss, who assured the electorate of their safety before, during and after the election, called for collaboration of other security agencies for a free, fair and credible Ekiti governorship election. The command also promised adequate security at each polling unit and combined team patrol at towns and villages in ensuring peace and orderliness.
The police has carried out threat analysis, which we have continued to update from time to time, to ensure adequate and proper deployment of personnel and logistics.
The message of DIG in charge of Ekiti State governorship election is clear, as he affirmed that his men and officers of other security agencies are ready to ensure electorates are protected during the election, but also wants those that are planning to commit trouble during the election to desist. In Ado Ekiti, Kehinde Rodola, NTA News.
And joining me in the studio is regular in election matters, Faith Nwadishi. She's an INEC observer for so many years now, and Executive Director, Center for Transparency. You're welcome to.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. So you have been in town taking notes of the process so far. Can you share some of your observations with us?
Thank you so much. So I was here 2 weeks ago. I spent about a week, and I've been here since Sunday on the ground. I want to say that the Ekiti people are ready for the election. I'm hoping that the turnout for the election will be much more than what we have seen, because we have seen a gradual decline between 2014 and 2018, the number of people who turn out. But from the number of people who have collected their PVCs, I'm hoping that we're going to get at least 60%, if not more, but just slightly above 60% of voters who will turn out. My only concern is that citizens are saying is a development from what happened in 2018. In 2018, there was a popular slogan about vote and make a pot of soup. Now they are saying they are going to vote, but they are going to wait get money. And the news around also the political class are saying no votes, no money. So they are really encouraging citizens to come out, because there's going to be vote trading. But aside that, I want to also commend the women of Ekiti. The women of Ekiti, about 51% of them are registered voters. But the statistics we have is that out of that 51%, over 74% of them have collected their voters card. Exactly. So the decider for the election will actually depend on the number of women who would come out. And over the years, you see that the role that women play in elections are very critical. If 74% of women, of the total women who have collected, that's over 50%. Let's assume only 74% of those women come out today, and they're about 51% of the total registered voters. It means that they would decide who governs the state next. And there's been a lot of enthusiasm, again, also from the security agencies. We've been able to have meetings with the security agencies, NSCDC, but I'm particularly excited about an app that the NSCDC have developed. They call it the N-Alert. The N-Alert is an app that any citizen can download anywhere and give real-time reporting of anything that is happening without even saying anything. Yesterday we had a meeting, and the NSCDC licensing officer came to do a simulation of that, and we are shocked to see that even the pictures we took, they had relayed it right in their command office, just as it is. And even an improvement is that even where there's no network, you can actually record it and then upload it later, but you can actually record real time. So that's, for me, a lot of improvements. Then the INEC itself, that is deploying the new development. We know that this election is the first election that will be conducted after the passage of the Electoral Act 2022. So there are a lot of expectations, new guidelines, new law on ground, and expectation from the citizens themselves. But most importantly, the citizens need to know that the issue of vote trading is really not very good for our electoral process.
What would be your suggestion? Are you not worried as a stakeholder?
I'm very worried. I'm very worried, because what we are doing gradually is that we are giving out our birthright for just a stipend.
For a pot of soup?
Yeah, for a pot of soup. You know, it's terrible that people could say vote and go and make a pot of soup. And I've learned how to speak that Yoruba, Diboko Sobe. So I've learned that. I learned that since I came here. But it's worrisome for us, because the younger ones are saying that election is about the voice of a people, the power of a people. So if you decide to sell, it's like you have an inheritance that's worth over 1 billion, and then somebody is coming to give you 5,000 naira for that. Come to think about it, it's not the way to go, because at the end of the day, you will not even have the voice to ask for accountability for that from that person. And then the area of the issue of violence, I see that it's a difference from what has happened in 2018. By now, 2018, there was a lot of tension. When we came to Ekiti, there were tensions. Even though you have had some reports of violence here and there, it's not as much as what we had in 2018. So, and then there's also better coordination and synergy between the security agencies. In the past, at the other day at the meeting, the Inspector General of Police said they were going to deploy about 17,000 security agencies. In the past, the Inspector General will tell you they're deploying 40,000, and you go to the field, you don't see them. So, but when you look at the 17,000 they're talking about with 245 polling units, it means that they will be giving you at least 7 police officers per polling unit. But however, if we get 4, we are sure that we're going to get 4 police officers at polling unit, because there's other strategic areas. Then the NCDC also will be deploying about 8,000. But you know the DSS and other agencies would be deploying. So if you add that of the NCDC it's a fair number compared to what you're.
So you are very certain, other than the issue of vote buying and the vote selling.
Yes,
everything is going to be fine.
I'm very optimistic because INEC has assured us, security agents have assured us, and citizens also have assured us. I just hope that they don't sell their votes and they come out to do the right thing. But again, let citizens know that because of the reforms we are getting in our electoral processes, votes are now counting. People should understand, votes are now counting. So if you don't vote, the reason why politicians are buying votes is because they are counting. If it's not, nobody will want to invest in a place where you cannot get return on investment. Votes are counting and it become an investment. That's what they want, why they want to buy it. So you come out, exercise your power and your voice, ensure that you don't sell your votes.
All right, thank you very much, Faith Nwadishi, for that very, very good observations and suggestions.
Thank you.
All right, moving on now, still talking election matters as Nigeria's political climate heats up to change the course of governance in the next 4 years. A cross-section of Deltans have urged all and sundry to participate in the electoral process by obtaining their permanent voters cards. They bear their minds on why every Nigerian must have PVC.
Adults of voting age in Nigeria have been urged to get their permanent voter card (PVC) in preparation for the 2023 general elections. Permanent voters card is a legitimate, valuable right of every citizen in Nigeria who has attained the age of 18 years. Reacting on why it's necessary for every Nigerian adult to have their PVC, an elder statesman, Ambassador Leo Okogu, maintained that despite the progress Nigeria has made in its democratic quest in the last 2 decades, there has been a general lack of interest among Nigerians in exercising their civic responsibility and voting to elect those who lead them. Dr. Leroy Edozien, on his part, said the era where people feel their votes don't count is over and urged every eligible Nigerian to get his or her PVC to cast ballots when necessary.
If anybody hasn't registered, they can't say that they have not heard that there's an exercise going on. It is just that reluctance.
With the new Electoral Act signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari, a lot of things will change about the electoral process as INEC has also stepped up its games, according to Dr. Tony Nwaka.
It's one of the major achievements of this administration, the new Electoral Act, which has built this confidence, the people's confidence in the electoral system, the political system. And you could see it play out. Everybody now wants to be part of the process. It helps to consolidate our democratic experience.
Others advised Nigerians of voting age to stop showing apathy because of past experiences, but to participate actively in the ongoing process.
Before now, people don't bother collecting their PVCs or even registering. 1993 is going to be repeated because everybody wants to get their PVC, everybody wants to vote. So this is the time God has set for this country for us to bounce back and have hope again.
PVC is a vital instrument for determining the choice of government. In Azabachinyere Okoli, NTA News.
We'll now take a break. The news continues shortly.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
And to other matters now, President Muhammadu Buhari has declared the 8th ordinary session of the Council of Ministers of Pan-African Agency of the Great Green Wall. The president said African countries must continue to explore various measures to combat change and desertification, while also addressing food insecurity and poverty across the continent. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu reports.
Stating the importance of tackling both poverty and climate change on the continent, President Muhammadu Buhari states that it is important to emphasize that for Africa, mitigation and adaptation methods for climate change must be mindful of the fact that Africa is confronted with, perhaps most importantly, the existential problem of extreme poverty.
Flag off of a tree planting exercise.
Represented by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the president says both must be addressed.
Nigeria believes that protecting our planet, its biodiversity and climate are essential to our collective survival. The impact of climate change is upon us. All over the continent, drought and desertification, increasing conflicts over pasture and water, food insecurity, loss of livelihoods, and youth migration, among others, characterize the environment.
While commending the current initiatives by the international technical and financial partners for pledging financial resources to support the implementation of the Great Green Wall, the president calls for financing to help preserve African rainforests, which he notes absorb no less than 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide yearly.
The commitment of every nation will be important in meeting the deadline of the Decade on Ecosystem Restoration Agenda 2021 to 2030. Having also fulfilled the payment of our outstanding contribution of about $654,291 US, I'm also glad to pledge the sum of $550,000 US only as our contribution to the building of the Great Green Wall, Secretariat. I call on other member countries to follow suit by contributing towards the building of a befitting office for the PAGGW.
Vehicles were also donated by the Nigerian government for the use of the Great Green Wall Secretariat. The president flags off the 2022 tree planting campaign, calling on state governments to replicate the same across their various states so that Nigeria can meet its pledge of planting 25 million trees in the next 2 years. From the State House Conference Center, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Jide Onifade there and not Adamu Sambo. And moving on now, strengthening the capacity of religious leaders to unleash their full potential in the fight against HIV was the focal point of a training in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori reports that the complexity of the concept of faith healing was also addressed.
UNAIDS global statistics on AIDS reveal that 37.7 million people globally were living with HIV in 2020. This epidemic has continued to be a major public health concern. As Sustainable Development Goal 3 aims to end AIDS before 2030, the global community is not relenting, and one of such efforts is this consultative meeting on treatment adherence by key actors in the fight against HIV/AIDS.
Faith leaders must rise to the challenges confronting the church today, especially with respect to reproductive health and HIV.
Very important to strengthen that role, to enhance that they help the country as much as possible to achieve epidemic control ensure that many people are enrolled for treatment and that we address the issues of stigma and discrimination. So PEPFAR and UNS come together to come up with this idea, which was brought into by our religious leaders globally.
Issues bordering on testing, high-risk behaviors, discrimination, and the concept of faith-based healing were also raised.
As much as we believe that God can do all things, it is also important that we adhere to treatment, which is the miracle that God has given us at a time like this.
With the ARVs, we have our healing. So we should not emphasize on exclusive claims of faith healing in the HIV response.
They recommend communal engagement, sensitization at all religious platforms on the epidemic and behavioral change in lifestyle. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
We'll now take sports update.
Athletics Federation of Nigeria (AFN) will face a daunting task at the national trials in Benin City, Edo State, where the nation's top athletes are converging. The AFN are to produce 2 teams to represent the country at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham and World Athletics Under-20 Championship in Colombia. The 2 major championships will hold in July and August. Camps will be set up. In football, week 17 matches of the Nigerian National League will come up this Saturday, where Yobe Desert Stars will slug it out with Zamfara United. ABS FC will tackle Mighty Jets. Sokoto United will play Oye Sports. Adamawa United will face KB United. KM Liberty will try not to play it safe with road safety. Other features are J Atete FC versus Giant Brillers, Adoration FC versus Vendresa, while Osho United and Gateway will face each other. In Ultimate Fighting Championship UFC, fans of Nigeria welterweight champion title holder Kamaru Usman have expressed their support for him as he's set to return to the ring to fight Leo Edwards in a rematch fight that will take place in the United States in August this year. This is the second time Usman will face Edwards after defeating him in 2015.
Kamaru Usman to go all out, not because he's a Nigerian, but because this guy has shown over the years that he's capable of beating anyone that comes his way. Defended it 5 times, one of the best.
In boxing, Alexander Usyk says he is ready to defend his title in the rematch fight against Anthony Joshua. The Ukrainian boxing champion was supposed to fight Anthony Joshua next month, but the much anticipated fight was shifted due to the Russian-Ukrainian war. Anthony Joshua is said to be seriously training ahead of the fight scheduled for August 20. With sport update, Peter Oibo, NTA News.
That's Panorama today. Remember to always join NTA in the fight against rape and rapists. Good afternoon.
Updating news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube.